for GCSE, which is our junior cert level, very little poetry, but we did lots of the war poets. So Wilfred Owen, Dulce Decorum Est, I can kind of still reel off. Almost everyone in the country would know Seamus Heaney and know at least a couple of lines. So I think there's a pride there, even if people aren't especially interested in poetry. When Ireland got their independence, and then there was a civil war to decide whether, they would accept the terms of that independence or not. Those terms divided the country and put a border and created the north of Ireland. The kind of line from the people who were against the treaty, who wanted to keep the war and unite, have a united Ireland, 32 counties, north and south, their whole thing was bury the guns. The war might be paused, but it is not over. So you had this really strange thing between the 1920s up to the 60s, where you would have intermittent kind of campaigns to create a united Ireland. Like there was I think a border campaign in 57. So that would have definitely been in the consciousness of people like Heaney growing up at that time. The north that Heaney kind of grew up in and lived in was very segregated, although there was lots of mixed areas. People of different traditions lived very happily and peacefully side by side for many of these years. But then there would be more entrenched, I suppose, places where, more, areas in Belfast and Derry where you wouldn't really mix, and you had your own pubs, your own streets, your own shops, your own jobs. I'm definitely not an expert on Heaney, but I guess his early poetry, if it approaches it laterally, like he's not talking directly about the kind of conflict that was about to kick off. It's about to kick off summer of 69. There's an island called Arran off Donegal. There's Tory Island. There's a couple more, I think, yeah. I hadn't been thinking along the lines of the allegory of it, because I'd always been thinking very specifically of a small island and the Aran Islands, which don't have trees, and where you would feel the rain hit the windows, and where the storms were like ever present and a kind of sublime thing. It's the Aston Villa motto. We are prepared. The joke used to be prepared for relegation, as the Birmingham City fans used to shout. This wizened earth has never troubled us with hay. The wizened or wizened earth. Wizened? Yeah. This wizened earth. There's a couple of turns of phrase that have, sort of an easy confidence, it seems. We are prepared, you know what I mean. And you might think, I was struggling with this because I think it's almost like it has to be 3 words stressed, so that you listen to the thing you fear, forgetting that it pummels your house too. So that you listen to the thing you fear, forgetting that it pummels your house too. I had been wondering, is the leaves and branches can raise a tragic chorus in a gale? It's the music of the wind in the trees. It does seem like there's a pivot here in the middle of the poem, isn't there? For me, I feel there like how the violence of violence when it comes from nothing. It's brutal because it's sudden. The military imagery is of planes and dive bombers and stuff. That makes me think of the Second World War more than of the conflict in the north, which I guess he would have he lived through as well. Belfast was bombed, and then we are bombarded by the empty air. It's it is a huge nothing that we fear. This sense that you can't put your finger on what. This fear that exists between people and between the present and the future. I'm Éanna Hardwicke. I'm going to read Storm on the Island by Seamus Heaney. And apologies, this would sound better if I was from Derry. We are prepared. We build our houses squat, sink walls in rock and roof them with good slate. This wizened earth has never troubled us with hay, so as you see, there are no stacks or stucks that can be lost. Nor are there trees which might prove company when it blows full blast. You know what I mean. Leaves and branches can raise a tragic chorus in a gale, so that you listen to the thing you fear, forgetting that it pummels your house too. But there are no trees, no natural shelter. You might think that the sea is company, exploding comfortably down on the cliffs, but no, when it begins, the flung spray hits the very windows, spits like a tame cat turned savage. We just sit tight while wind dives and strafes invisibly. Space is a salvo. We are bombarded by the empty air. Strange. It is a huge nothing that we fear.